Well, good morning and Merry Christmas. The winter solstice, the shortest day of the year when the northern hemisphere is tilted furthest from the sun, was, as you know, on December 21st. And since then, we have gained exactly 12 seconds of daylight in Richmond. Woohoo! I'll take it. By Epiphany, the 12th day of Christmas, January 6th, we will have gained 1 whole minute per day. And by the summer solstice, we will have gained a total of 5 hours and 10 minutes of beautiful sunlight. And I think I speak for most of us when I say we welcome this return of light. The pervasive darkness of this time of year can cause something called seasonal affective disorder, an affliction that disrupts the body's circadian rhythms, causing a drop in serotonin that leads to depression, lethargy, difficulty concentrating, sleeping. It's no surprise that the biochemistry of our bodies is deeply affected by the lack of light and the tilt of the planet. The importance of sunlight on Earth cannot be exaggerated. Light from the sun powers life. Light from the sun powers life. Through the process known as photosynthesis, sunlight is absorbed by green plants and phytoplankton in the ocean and used to convert carbon dioxide, water, and minerals into oxygen and simple carbohydrates, forming the basis of the food chain. Sunlight is essential to create the food we eat, the air we breathe. Because the light of the sun also warms the planet and powers the water cycle, the Earth is a habitable and hospitable planet for a diversity of life forms and creation that have evolved and existed in complex and interdependent ecosystems. Life depends on light. Life depends on light. This explains why many human cultures have festivals to mark the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, a time to celebrate this return of light and life that usually involves feasting and music and gift-giving and alms for the poor. The earliest evidence we have of Christmas, literally the Christ Mass, or Christ Feast, being celebrated is in 336 AD in Rome. Not surprisingly, this coincided with the pagan winter solstice festivals. Once Christianity became the official religion of the empire in the early 4th century, the church began to do what the church did, which was to appropriate a lot of these really good pagan festivals to celebrate our Christian feast days like Christmas. According to one scholar, it was a stroke of sheer pastoral genius to Christianize the pagan midwinter festivals as Christmas. Indeed. However, the desire to link the birth of Christ with the coming of light into the world is not just a cheap marketing ploy for Christianity. The witness and testimony of Christ as the light of the world is pervasive in Scripture. Nowhere is this more lyrical and definitive than in the prologue of John's Gospel that we read on this Christmas day. John writes, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of the people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it." Now, unlike Luke or Matthew's account of the nativity of Jesus that situates the Christ child in these long royal lineages and chosen families, specifying particular people, places, and events in history to create a birth narrative, John provides an alternative, bolder, cosmic vision of the incarnation. In John's gospel, Christ coexists with God from the foundation of the world before creation, even. John intentionally links the incarnation to Genesis, using the exact same words, in the beginning, to introduce his gospel. He then reinterprets Genesis such that Christ is God's word, God's very act of speech that creates light. And from this light, everything else flows. The heavens and the earth, plants, animals, birds, fish, and human beings. A better translation for the word is logos, which in Greek means the logic, or the cosmic rationale that gives order and structure to the created universe, to our very existence. Jesus is not just the light of the world. Jesus is God's very logos that creates the light upon which all life depends. What an extraordinary account of the incarnation. It's just truly awesome. In the light of Christ, the created universe is the incarnation of God's infinite love for what he has created. The Word became flesh and lived among us, and we have seen his glory, the glory as of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. God so audaciously and lavishly loved the world, loved you, loved me, that he gave us Jesus, an enfleshed human being that we could know and love and relate to and be in relationship with. The Greek for lived among us literally means to put up camp or pitch a tent. Eugene Peterson in The Message translates this as, the Word became flesh and blood and moved into the neighborhood. Jesus, the incarnation of God, creates a bridge between the transcendent divine realm of God and the material, fleshy, physical realm of creation to show us who God is, a God of infinite, infinite love. There is so much darkness in the world as 2021 comes to a close. I don't need to tell you that. And it can be so easy to succumb to despair. Well beyond the literal darkness of the season, we are plagued by the darkness of this relentless pandemic that has claimed the lives of 5.3 million people around the world, which is just so hard to fathom. We're dealing with the darkness of devastating injustices wrought by the climate crisis for the most vulnerable and poorest among us, and the darkness of the staggering fact that 82.4 million human beings, 82.4 million human beings are classified by the UN as refugees, having been forcibly displaced from their homes to seek shelter and asylum. This is twice as many as just in 2010. Twice as many. I mean, that is so many people. And this is due to the climate crisis, to warfare, famine, poverty, religious extremism. And then there's the darkness that we just are struggling with in this country right now as we just fight and we are so divided. We've just so given in to all of these tribal divisions and hatreds in our political, civic life. And then there's always the problem of the darkness that we struggle with in our own hearts and relationships, right? But it is all of this darkness in all of its varieties and complexities and vastness, to which we, you and I, are called to witness to the light within us as revealed in Christ's eternal light that has been shining into our world since the very beginning, if only we would see it. In God's love revealed in Christmas through the incarnation of the Word made flesh, Jesus not only shows us who God is, but who we truly are. God's beloved children. Given the power to be the children of God, the light of Christ shines within and through us. As in the process of photosynthesis, we absorb this Christ light and we convert it into the food of love and compassion and into the oxygen of forgiveness and justice through our words and our actions. Friends, the 12 days of Christmas, then, signifies much more than an appropriated Roman pagan winter solstice festival celebrating the sun. So much more. It is true, yes, that life depends on light. That's a scientific fact. But not just the sunlight of a star during a certain season. The ultimate source of light is Christ, God's Word made flesh, Emmanuel, God with us, who came to tent with us and moved into our neighborhood. As a community of the church, the body of Christ, we are the living incarnation of God's light and love for the world. Our vocation, our calling as we go forth today, as God's children who have received grace upon grace, is to shine our Christ light brightly, to light the path of those who live in darkness and in the shadow of death. The light, your light, shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not and will never overcome it. Merry Christmas.